Hello. Greetings to all of you. Uh, uh, Thank you all for tuning in. This is from Tom Daniel. I will be speaking here from the great state of Texas. And I want to thank my fellow brothers and sisters that are tuning in, those here in the great, this wonderful, amazing nations, United States, those in ground zero, those in neighboring country, La Republique, those in Europe, Asia. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are tuning in, and it's going to be a very wonderful discussion. And I want to thank all of you. It is so what's happening? But anyway, there is a very, very urgent announcement, and that I'm going to be talking about, and I'm sure you are all welcome for these brilliant messages. And but anyway, so this is what I'm gonna be making news. We know about Agbo, the lawyer who were picked up because they were demonstrating and were locked up in Kondengui Hospital. They were in Kondengui Hospital or Kondengui prison in somewhere in Yaoundé. And there are certain people which their names still remain silent and nothing is happening about it. And so I'm going to be talking about that and those who have been going blind in Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé, the National Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. There are citizens of Southern Cameroon that are going blind and that they have been held without bail, without any conditions. They are going blind in the National Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. So I am going to be talking about, and those who were left in prison after Abo Balan Congo were released. And there are still some that are being held in Yaoundé. So I'm going to list some of their names in this moment. So stay tuned and be vigilant. I am going to be speaking here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States. And I will be broadcast live on my YouTube and on my Facebook. Remember that on my Facebook, on my YouTube, it's called Transparency Media International. That is what you're going to see on my YouTube. Transparency Media International. Remember to subscribe, remember to share, remember to copy and paste. And this is very, very important that you follow this instruction. Hold on a minute. So you remember that before I go, there were a list of entourage of La Republique that were heading to Switzerland. I am sure, I don't know where they are, and there are lists of entourage of this number one terrorist, Paul Biarri, that was heading to Switzerland. And there were lists of individuals that were supposed to be accompanying him and including ammunition he's supposed to be having while on your way to Switzerland. And then I have the list of the names here, and we will talk about it. And then secondly, we will talk about the United States Avenue of the Justice Department of these wonderful nations. Remember that the United States make a significant difference in the Kosovo. The United States make a significant difference in the FIFA organizations. And United States did a significant difference and restore trust in the FIFA organizations. When the Attorney General of this wonderful nation, United States, issued a memorandum that those FIFA members to be picked up and arrested, and that was done. And those FIFA organization or executive were immediately picked up, and peace were restored, harmony were restored in FIFA. And therefore, I am urging the United States Department of Justice to take a closer look whether there is ample evidence that the United States can step in the Justice Department and find out exactly what is wrong with this guy, his attitude and inhuman treatment in West Africa. And I believe that the United States is capable to do a significant differences by extending United States has the ability and to ensure that peace reigns somewhere. And so this guy is the most wanted terrorist that we have on this planet. First, he was supposed to be traveling to Switzerland, and he has an entourage where they have their names listed here, and this including ammunition. There are 5 of those individuals that have at least 90 caliber millimeter bullets on their hand, at least each individual. And they're asking the Swiss government, to grant them authorization to be able to carry that amount of ammunition before he head to Europe. And that is why, and some of their names, I have them here, that are requesting from the Swiss authority to grant him to travel with a bunch of ammunition. And each individual, there are 5 that has at least 90 caliber millimeter bullet to be heading to Switzerland. And another have 30 each, and requesting the Swiss government to authorize them to carry that ammunition. But I shall come back to this and more. So let's listen to what is making news in La Republique. Let's look at the gendarmerie, the National Gendarmerie headquarters. So this video that I'm showing is a southern Cameroon. There are 12 of them in number. And I don't have the names of those 12 in numbers, but I have one that at least some of them have been going blind in the National Gendarmerie headquarters because they have been living underground prison for at least 6 months, as I'm speaking here in this, at least 6 months in the National Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé, for at least 6 months. Okay, let's look at that one of those individuals that are languishing in the National Gendarmerie headquarters at least 6 months without access to sunlight, without access to food and medicines. As you see the environment, that is exactly how they live in that gendarmerie headquarters. Listen.
Who were kidnapped by armed gangs and thugs of the Bolivarian regime and the government of La Republique DU Cameroun. Since our abduction some 6 months ago, we have been held hostage at various hidden cells in conditions only comparable to concentration death camps with a singular purpose to kill us. At the moment, we are held in a bunker at the said gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. If dying is the price that we must pay to guarantee our freedom and to re-establish the independence of our country, then it's a price worth paying. Whatever you do and whatever you think, please do not be afraid. Fear will kill you faster than any bullet. Think and act according to the righteousness of your motives, the decay, the corruption, the uselessness of the Bordia regime, and what has become of La Republique du Cameroun must never become us. We are a million times better than those. It is our individual and our collective responsibility to forge this new nation and the orange dream of this nation. Southern Cameroon, it is my country, Cameroon. The moment is come. It is a death what we have been fighting for. We are beginning an indefinite counter strike that we shall not stop until it means action place. We are prepared for the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Joe family. Ayuk, Ote, Ayuk. For you, Terence.
For you, Terence.
Tangen Thomas.
Tangen Thomas.
Fabiano Deco.
Abiano Deco.
Angwan Benson.
Angwine Benson.
Tabe Edward.
Tabe Edwin.
Kisop Barton.
Kisop Batten.
Kechawa Silva.
Kechawa Silva.
Kuala Malvern.
Fala Marvin.
Just please look at our condition of detention in this bunker.
So this is absolutely painful. This is absolutely painful. So I just list the names of those that are under bunker in the gendarmerie headquarters as I'm speaking. They have been in a very horrible environment. As you see the darkness, because I have nothing to project. This is absolutely terrifying that in the National Gendarmerie headquarters, as I'm speaking, at least 12 of the Southern Cameroon citizens are languishing for 6 months without access to sunlight, without access to food, and without access to whatever I can describe. It is terrifying in this Republique du Cameroun. I understand the condition this world must understand. I am requesting the United States Justice Department to take a closer look. Whether is it amicable that you have someone. I understand that the United States has been engaged in foreign wars, but the United States has never kept someone with that length of period in an confined jail like the one La Republique du Cameroun is doing. Imagine in the National Gendarmerie headquarters, at least 12 citizens of Southern Cameroon has been living for 6 months without access to sunlight, without access to food. And you can imagine the horrific condition that they find themselves. But anyway, you can see. So it's totally dark in that particular bunker in National Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. You can see the images is sealed and it's not access. There's no sunlight.
Terrible condition. No light.
You can see the environment. I shall come back to this more on this particular video. So in this case, This is, you may see, you believe that it is a church service going on. Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a church service going on in the prison of La Republique. And the individuals that are in this particular prison are Anglophone speaking because they're seeking for political freedom, the right to have their voice heard, their right to question the existence of the government, the right to understand their own value. Our people, our citizens, has become a murdering house by the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun. And that is why you see our high-profile citizens are being treated indiscriminately by the terrorist government of La Republique du Cameroun. We did not come to this forceful cohabitation marriage that we call relationship. We didn't. But however, we find our brothers and sisters being killed indiscriminately by the terrorist government of La Republique du Cameroun. As you see these images, these are high-profile citizens of our people that are being treated indiscriminately by the terrorist government regime of Biafra. And it's because, how did we get into this mess? Because the British authority inadvertently transferred documents that pertain to our people to the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun, despite the relationship that existed between the people of Southern Cameroon and the British government. But unfortunately, the British government remains silent as though nothing is happening, while our brothers and sisters are languishing in La Republique jail. You all know Agua Barisa Bala Kon, since he was released from La Republique jail. There are many that are still today in that jail. I am going to list their names in order of their appearance. And they are still in the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun jailhouse. What are they fighting for? Equality, liberty, freedom. We are people of distinctive identity. We came to this La Republique under an equal identity. Let me just hold on a minute. That is a document that's signed by the United Nations in 1961. And at least 64 nations voted to recognize the distinctive sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. At least those nations, let's listen. United Nations General Assembly in 1994 plenary meeting on the 21st of April 1961 at 3 p.m. in New York. The UN 15th Session General Assembly President was Frederick Boland of Ireland. The Vice President was Xian of China. And the rapporteur was Boy of Denmark. Those are the list of the country and the Secretary General at the United Nations in 1961 that acknowledged the sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. 64 nations voted to recognize the distinctive sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. And what are the list of the names? Here are the list of the names. You have Ireland. No, you have Iceland, India, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Iceland, Japan, Jordan, Laos, Lebanon, Liberia, Libya, Mali, Mexico, Morocco, Nepal, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nigeria, Norway, Pakistan, Philippines, Poland, Romania, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Sweden, Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, Soviet Socialist Republic, Union of South Africa, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, United Kingdom, that's Great Britain, Northern Ireland, United States of America, our great nations here, Venezuela, Yemen, Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, Albania, Australia, Austria, Bolivia, Bulgaria, Burma, Czechoslovakia, Republic, Canada, Ceylon, Chile, Costa Rica, Cuba, Cyprus, Czechoslovakia, Denmark, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Ethiopia, Federation of Malaysia, Finland, Ghana, and Equatorial Guinea. Those are the 64 nations that stood and voted at the United Nations headquarters. And this is the crisis that is going on in Southern Cameroon. The world community absolutely remains silent, as though they don't respect the terms of the document in which this nation voted. The people of Southern Cameroon has demonstrated that they do not want this relationship with the neighboring country, La Republique DU Cameroun. They have sincerely indicated their total unrevamped relationship and that they want to be left alone. But the world remains silent and believe that some things is going to happen. Unfortunately, I am here to let the world understand this, that the people of Southern Cameroon want to be left alone. Let's look at what are things. So, 23 nations vote in objection to the Southern Cameroon, 23. Out of 64, 23 votes. Let's look at some of those nations that voted to object. The people of independence, the Southern Cameroon sovereignty. But unfortunately, the independence was already. You have Israel, you have Ivory Coast. What do you know about Ivory Coast? Is a French colony because France collided with its colony to vote against the people of Southern Cameroon independence. So they can take advantage to exploit the mineral, to exploit the resources that is in Southern Cameroon. And that is why France government collided with many of the French as in support against the independent sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. Let's look at some of those nations that France arbitrarily wished them to support against, to vote against. First, we have Ivory Coast. We have Ivory Coast. We have Luxembourg. Luxembourg, you all know, is French. Madagascar, Niger, Paraguay, Senegal, you know all, they are French. Upper Volta, Uruguay, Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, Cambodia, Cameroon, La Republique, Central African Republic, Chad, China, Congo Brazzaville, Congo Dahomey, France, Gabon, Greece. So those are the nations that France collided with them to collaborate to vote against the independence of the people of Southern Cameroon. Those are initiatives of France, and that they shouldn't vote for the independence of the people of Southern Cameroon. But unfortunately, it didn't go that way. Our people have been voted. And that is why we are asking the world to recognize the document they voted and allowed our people not to be slaughtered each day. Our people have the right and distinctive freedom to govern themselves. They don't need the world to tell them how they should be governed. They don't need La Republique to tell them how to be governed. They have the right to be self-government, like any other nation that has gone through United Nations. I think it's time the United Nations need to respect the terms of the vote of the 1961. And that is the only way moving forward. We have got enough disaster. We have got enough slaughter of our people. And we have got enough. We have got enough. This is a United Nations officials. That is the United Nations officials present a map, two identical map, which indicate that the people of Southern Cameroon recognized by United Nations as a distinctive sovereign nation. Why can't they immediately tell La Republique, we are asking you to dislodge disembarkate out of Southern Cameroon. That is simple. That is the problem. And let the people start building their nation. We are capable to do that. We don't need La Republic, and that is why we request that the United Nations respect the terms of the document that was voted in 1961. That is what we're asking. Respect the terms of the document that was voted in 1961. Our brothers and sisters are going blind in La Republique Gendarmerie headquarters. Why we have a vast land, we have our citizens, we have every part of our people that are suffering. Why others are going blind in the National Gendarmerie headquarters, and that they have been living for 6 months in agony, in pain, in suffering in the Francophone on land. Why we have our own land and we become a slave in our own territory, a slave in our own home, a slave because we are animals that can be slaughtered at any time. Let's look. These are the list of those that have been left in Kondengui. Let's get the name. The list of those that are currently in Kondengui. But this is not all of them. This is just a few that were there prior to the release of Bala and Kongon. This is one. We have one. We have Galim. Felix Safa. You have Galim. Felix Safa is still in La Republique Kondengui prison. We have Mancho BBC. Mancho BBC is still in La Republique Kondengui prison. We have Asacha Martin. He's still in La Republique Kondengui prison. We have C. Koram. We have Alowede Kingsley, Van Kingsley. Alowede Van Kingsley. We have Benzen Melvin Awan. We have Ben Terence Camp. We have Ben Terence Camp, still in La Republique. We have our Thomas Zenze Jr. We have Wilbur Bruno. We have Wilbur Bruno. We have Ta Mil Angwi. We have Fong Kamemba. I don't get that name spelling correct. We have Neo Titus. We have Tayo Levitt. We have Nyumfomi Eugene. We have Lotte Jacob. We have Mayo Eugene. We have Joseph Ngwa. We have King Valentine. We have Ambe Me Andrew. We have Che Benjamin. I don't get that name clear. We have Sue Paul. And we have Numfo Godlove. Those are the list of the Southern Cameroon that prior to Barrister Ankongo was released. They are still languishing in La Republique. Then you can understand how long they have been in that jailhouse in Kondengui. These are our brothers. They're simply asking for a reform in the entire system. And the system cannot carry on any meaningful reform. They simply have atrocity to arrest and jail our brothers as though we are their colonial territory. But I am here to let the world to understand that our people need freedom. Freedom to liberty. Freedom to exercise their right. Freedom to question any existence of any government. Because that government derives its power from the consent of the people. And once the people denounce those consent, then that government needs to be discarded because it doesn't represent the aspiration of the people. So our people want their own total complete freedom to live La Republique and have their own genuine freedom to decide and the political how their political choice and government should exist in Southern Cameroon. Let's look.
The issue on the Anglophone piece, I won't go into detail.
That's the top U.S. general speaking about the Southern Cameroon.
History of how it got to the point where we are today. In October of 2017, when it came kind of to a head, the Anglophone states said we want to actually form our own state, the Ambazonian state. There have been issues there with atrocities, issues with allegations of law of war issues, and this is something that brings all this to a head. Over the last several months or so, the State Department has put on hold several security force assistance programs. So right before the election in October, I, with the ambassador, went and paid a visit with President Villa. And we had a very direct conversation with him with regards to investigation of these atrocities, transparency of these atrocities, and appropriate battlefield behavior. Since that time, the State Department has made a decision not to allocate significant money, but at the same time, they've released some money that's been on hold to things like Stan Eagle and Cessna aircraft that assist in the Boko Haram fight in the north. We still have programs that we continue with them, all kind of small engagements as well as exercises. We did have we talked about the state partnership program with Nebraska. We put that on hold, and in conjunction with the ambassador, AFRICOM, we decided not to pursue that because it wouldn't have been a good place for that particular group to be, so we put a halt to that. So the bottom line is right now in Cameroon, they have been a good partner with us counterterrorism-wise, but you can't neglect the fact that they have there are alleged atrocities and what's going on there. And so we continue to take our cues from the State Department and from the ambassador, and our level of engagement will continue, but not get out ahead of what the State Department would say is if we have to take other actions. We were very emphatic with President Villa that the behavior of his troops,
of course, they are waiting. So the crew is waiting from the ambassador to make whether if there is a time that they have to do something. I think it's more than enough time that the United States has to do something, because when you watch this behavior, and that you can imagine that at least human beings, Southern Cameroon citizens, are in prison and underground bunker for at least 6 months. They are going blind. They are going blind. At least 6 months, they are going blind. I mean, just watch the video again and see the environment that they are living in the gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. They are going blind in the National Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. Watch. Hold on with this. We'll come back to the commander of the AFRICOM. Look.
My name is Asa Patrick Dem. I'm speaking on behalf of 12 of us.
12 of them.
The armed gangs and thugs of the Bolivia regime.
They are on the ground in the National Gendarmerie headquarters, on the ground, and they have been in that condition for at least 6 months.
At various hidden cells in conditions uncomparable to concentration camps with a singular purpose to kill us. At the moment, we are held in a bunker at the said Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. If dying is the price that we must pay to guarantee our freedom and to re-establish the independence of our country, then it is a price worth paying. Whatever you do and whatever you think, please do not be afraid. Fear will kill you faster than any bullet. Think and act according to the righteousness of your motives, the decay, the corruption, the uselessness of the Bolivia regime And what has become of La République du Cameroun must never become us. We are a million times better than those. It is our individual and our collective responsibility to forge this new nation that we all dream of. Proud Cameroon, it is my country, and as of Monday the 7th, to safeguard what we have been fighting for, we are beginning an indefinite hunger strike that we shall not stop, even if it means it has to claim us. We are prepared for the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Joe family. Ayuk, Ote, Ayuk. All you parents.
Those are the list of the names of those that are being held in underground prison in La République, in the National Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé. I didn't cover intentionally. That is the cell in which they're living, in an underground bunker in La République, in the national capital. You can see their environment. That is exactly where they are living for the past 6 months, in an underground bunker. Kondengui. Watch.
Silver.
Kuala Marvin. They can't even see. I mean, it's deplorable. It is deplorable. You can see the environment. That is exactly how they are living. And they have been living in this terrifying condition for at least 6 months as we speak.
6 months. There's no window.
No access to sunlight. No access to food and medicine. It is absolutely under the Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé bunker. That to tell you how brutal this their regime is. And that is why I am asking the United States whether, how long does it take the United States to do something in this militaryous nest that exists in La République? I think the United States should have done something because it is absolutely terrifying. It doesn't require the U.S. Department of Defense to intervene. It doesn't. Just the African can do something right now as I'm speaking. The United States can do something right now that I'm speaking. It doesn't require U.S. State Department. It doesn't require U.S. Only Africa alone can do something and change the course of the dynamic. Only African in West Africa. I am speaking the Pentagon because that's the least. But just the African alone, if they're given the authorization to do so, then it will make a significant difference. This is the moment that people will look upon the United States in this type of crisis. Can the United States do something? I believe that the United States can, but how often, how quickly, maybe often, but too late. I'm sure you recognize that face. You obviously recognize that face. They have been there in La République Kondengui house. What are they demanding? A simple reform. A simple reform. Reform. Change in the structure, change in the system. That it should accommodate every citizen. But unfortunately, they are being held without their freedom in La République. Whereas, according to the terms of our relationship, our people are supposed to be tried in southern Cameroon and not in the terrorist government of La République du Cameroun. But that is where our people are languishing there. And you have the audacity to tell me that we shouldn't speak up, we shouldn't do anything. I think we have the legitimate right For our nation, we do not need La Republic, neither do we have to have La Republic in our midst. Our people is capable to manage a self-government, a government of their that they know is responsible for themselves, and not a terrorist government of La Republic. Let's listen to it. That is their experience. That's their life in the La Republic jailhouse. That is not church. That is a church service. One will admire and think that it's happening in an honor. But that is La Republic jailhouse, where our brothers and sisters are languishing in La Republic jailhouse. That is the problem that I am speaking of, because we have some that are in Kondengui, and we have some that are in the National Gendarmerie headquarters, going for 6 months. 6 months without food and medicine, without the sunlight. Without the sunlight. You understand, when you don't have sunlight and what it has on your own personal health. Without sunlight, you need sunlight for your body to metabolize. You need sunlight for your own body to metabolize. And that is why some people, when they go to the hospital, they're being prescribed vitamin D because they are not exposed to sunlight. But our people are languishing and being deprived of sunlight in La Republic, in the National Gendarmerie headquarters, because they are simply asking for a reform. But I am here to let the world understand that our people want to be left alone. They need to be left alone. They have their freedom. They can manage themselves. They do not need La Republic to tell them how they should be governed. They don't need La Republic. Our people is capable of governing themselves. Our people is capable of governing themselves. And that is why we are asking the United States that it's not time the United States begin romance with the system. It's time the United States take extra actions. If the United States want to be complacent with Africa, showing their love for Africa, this is the moment that the United States need to step more effort and show that they stand with the younger generation. Because those of the old generation, their date has expired. But our people, their life still have a long way. And they see a bleeding light in the end of the tunnel. But the United States can show, and that the people will think of the United States and reflect that the United States came to our rescue. This is the time the United States shows its power, that they stand as a strong nation on this planet. This is the moment that the United States take advantage and opportunity to exercise those opportunities. It's not the time the United States stand and giving lecture. It's time to do action. It's not time for the United States to be giving lecture. It's not time to be talking. It's time to do action, because that is where the people will look upon the United States. That the United States rescue us in a time of crisis. And this is a crisis that I am speaking here. United States is capable. United States that I know of is capable. But why can't the United States do something? Can the United States do something? I think the United States can do something. And that is why I am asking the United States government that our people is languishing, are suffering, are living in agony by a terrorist individual that is 86 years old, that is valued. Let's hold on, let's see who that person is. Just hold on, hold on. That is the person I'm talking about. This guy, he's 86 years old, or getting to 87 years old. This guy, 87 years old. His value in this current generation has gone astray. He doesn't need it. His fundamental value has been lost. And the people want to seek upon the United States to step and fill the vacuum and show the world that the United States is still valid, to state that any nation that attempt to abuse, we are going to stand there for you. This is the moment that the United States need to show its extensive effort that we stand in freedom. United States fought its freedom, and the United States must stand against others and show them that they respect the freedom. This is the moment that the United States need to exercise that moment. It's not time that the United States are giving lecture speeches, because those speeches doesn't lead to nowhere. And that is why I'm asking the United States government. It's time to take upon and go further. Go extra mile. Show the world that you still stand as a leadership in this world. Because this is the moment that Africa will look back and say, when we have crisis, what did the United States do? This is the moment that the United States need to show the world that they are capable to restore peace, whatever it is. This is the moment. This is the moment. This is the moment. Because you can find at least 12 people in confined under bunker for 6 months by a terrorist government of La Republique. Let's hold on. Let's listen to the top general in Africa.
The issue on the angle.
Okay, let's listen to
detail that. I think the article plus the video this morning did a very good job of explaining the history of how it got to the point where we are today. In October of 2017, when it came kind of to a head, the Anglophone states said we want to actually form our own state, the Ambazonian state. There have been issues there with atrocity.
Yes, that is what the people want. They want their own territory. They want La Republique to dégage. They want La Republique to completely dégage. The people want their own independent nation, and they start building their own nation. Now, it's not something that the people want to start building their own nation from scratch. That is what the people want. And they want their nations. That is what, just state exactly what the people are as requesting. Their sovereignty. Absolutely. The sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. Before we come to that U.S. top general, AFRICOM, let's look at this guy. He's traveling. He's traveling to Switzerland, and he's asking the Swiss government, listen the names and their identity. They're asking the Swiss government to provide them access to ammunition so that they can take to Europe, to Swiss. They ask to authorize them with ammunition. Because in La Republique, they can do whatever it takes. But in Europe, they're asking for access to carry on ammunition. Let's listen to the ammunition that they are requesting and the names of those individuals that are asking permission to carry on those ammunition. Listen, pay close attention. La République du Cameroun. République du Cameroun. Présidence de la République. And signed by Simon Pierre Bikele. Signed by Simon Pierre Bikele. That is the person that signed. And this is the request he asked from the Swiss. Dans la perspective du séjour privé de Monsieur le Président de la République du Suisse, en Suisse, stop. Honneur de vous communiquer ci-après pour obtention un compte de dimanche 7 avril, un période de 1 mois. He's requesting permission in a period of 1 month. De 1 mois. De autorisation nécessaire ou près de autoriser le compte liste d'éléments sécurité porte le arme. The list of those they be asking to authorize them to carry ammunition. Le arme, leur date et leur naissance, numéro de passeport, type et le numéro de arme ainsi que le nombre d'ammunition. Stop. S'agit de the names are Colonel Hanlong Etienne, né 1947 à Gala. Numéro de passeport 9526091, le 25 février 1919 à Yaoundé. He has 949 caliber 9 mm and then 30 ammunition. You got it right. You got it right. He has 30 ammunition. That is the request. Number two person, chef de bataillon, Madame Rodrigue, né à 17 mai 1980 à Yaoundé. Numéro de passeport 9522599 du 20 février 1918 à Yaoundé. That's the numéro de passeport. This one in particular has 90 ammunition in his keeping, requesting the Swiss government to authorize them 90 ammunition in his keeping to kill the people of Southern Cameroon or the people of La République that are requesting for a reform. He doesn't merit to be there. He absolutely doesn't merit to be there. But he's requesting an authorization to carry ammunition. Chef Escadron, Mecca Mike, passeport né à juin 1980 à Douala. Numéro de passeport 9523189, le 13 février à Yaoundé. Number of ammunition 30. I think I am going to post this on my Facebook so that you can see the request and the number of the ammunition. Read and understand exactly what it entails. Fellow brothers and sisters, fellow world, it's time. The world has to terminate this relationship. The world needs to come to their senses and recognize that the people of Southern Cameroon has reached enough tipping point, and that their freedom and liberty is something that they want now, not yesterday, not after tomorrow. The world needs to recognize and come to their knees and respect the essential document that was signed in 1961. Here in the United States, I believe the United States can do something about it. I wish the people of Southern Cameroon, we are on the road to freedom. Our liberty is not going to be questioned, but our freedom to exercise, our freedom to liberty is not a blinking thing. Thank you for those in the Kondengui warehouse. Brothers, we stand with you. We understand what you're going through. We will never relinquish our effort until you guys have your freedom. And those under the Gendarmerie headquarters in Yaoundé bunker that have been living for 6 months without access to medical care, without access to sunlight, I'm asking United States to do something about it. United States is not the time for speeches, it's time for action. And I'm wishing that the United States can come and do something. It's not the time for speeches, it's not the time. It's time for do something. Action is what the people are seeking. They're not seeking speeches. Those speeches doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't carry any action. It doesn't alleviate any pain. But what action the United States do is what the people are going to remember the United States for standing for the freedom and liberty of the suffering people, for someone that is all long gone, Bobia regime. Wish you all a wonderful and happy day. This is Funton Daniel speaking here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States.